Hi everyone. In this video, we will discuss about security pillar. The security pillar is one of the AWS well-architected framework. So we have discussed that well-architected framework helps cloud architects build secure, high-performing, resilient, and efficient infrastructure for a variety of application and workloads. So that's the general definition that why we need this AWS well-architected framework. So this is for help for to provide help to cloud architects, and well architected framework actually provides a set of questions and design principles across 6 pillars. So we are going to discuss one of the pillars, that is security. Now the security pillar guides on taking advantage of cloud technologies to protect data, system and assets while delivering business value. So it means its job is to provide guidelines as the best practices so that we can secure our data, our assets in the cloud. And this pillar provides an overview of design principles, best practices, and foundational questions. So there are actually 7 design principles for security in the cloud which are covered by the security pillar. And these 7 design principles are as follows. So first one is implement a strong identity foundation. Second is enable traceability. Third is apply security at all layers. And fourth is automate security best practices. Fifth one is protect data in transit and at rest. And sixth one is keep people away from data. And seventh one is to prepare for security events. So these are the general or the design principles for which are covered by security pillar. Now we'll discuss each of them one by one. So first one is implement a strong identity foundation. So this actually guides, this implements the principle of least privileges and enforce separation of duties with appropriate authorization for each interaction with your AWS resources. Least privileges means we should only be giving enough at the minimum level of privileges or rights to an individual working in an organization or to access any account. Centralize identity management and aim to eliminate reliance on long-term static credentials. So sometimes this happens that we just give some credential to someone and we forget about that. And meanwhile, if situation changes or if maybe employee is going to leave the organization, that there can be any other issues. This is just an example. So we have to, eliminate this. We have to minimize this. Second is enable traceability. So traceability means we should be able to trace out some events. So for this, we monitor, alert, and audit actions and changes to your environment in real time. And we integrate log and metric collection with system to automatically investigate and take action. So that we should be able to trace out that what happened, who did that. For that, we should have some log or we should have some record. And as per that record, we should be able to investigate and take action. And the third one is apply security at all layers. So this implies that we should apply a defense in depth approach with multiple security controls. Defense in depth means we should be applying security measures at all layers. For example, we should apply security at the edge of the network. We should apply at VPC. We should apply at load balancing, every instance and compute service, operating system, application, and code. So they all should be secure. The security should be implemented at these all layers. Fourth one is to automate security best practices. So automated software-based security mechanism improve your ability to securely scale more rapidly and cost effectively. So to automate the security mechanism actually helps us in cost effective way and create secure architecture, including the implementation of controls that are defined and managed as code in version control templates. And fifth design principle actually deals with protecting data in transit and at rest. Instead, when data is traveling or the data is at rest, maybe it's saved somewhere, maybe on bucket, S3 bucket. So here we first classify our data, classify your data into sensitivity level and use mechanisms such as encryption, tokenization, and access control where appropriate to make the data secure. Sixth design principle is to keep people away from data. So here it says that use mechanism and tools to reduce or eliminate the need for direct access or manual processing of data, because this actually introduces human error in the data. So this is recommended. So this reduces the risk of mishandling or modification and human error when handling sensitive data. And seventh design principle is to prepare for security events. So prepare for an incident by having incident management and investigation policy and processes. For example, any incident can happen at any time. So we need to have an incident management and investigation policy in the organization as per requirement. And then we should also run incident response simulations and use tools with automation to increase your speed for detection, investigation, and recovery. So this is all about incident management, how we respond, how we detect it, and how we recover. And then there are 6 best practice areas for security in the cloud, forming basis for foundational questions. Now, associated with these foundational questions and security areas, we have different context and the foundational questions. I'll put the link in the description section. You can go and read further in details. So these 6 best practice areas are security, identity and access management, detection, infrastructure protection, data protection, incident response. And now I'll just give you some of the foundational questions which are covered by these practice areas. So in security, there are some questions. So their context and best practices are given in the link. I'll share the document. So question like, how do you securely operate your workload? So for that, this is a question, and there are some best practices. You can go through this in the document. And the second one is identity and access management. And the foundational question which can help secure our infrastructure is like, how do you manage identity for people and machines? Because infrastructure can be accessed by people as well as machine. How do you manage identities, and how do you manage permission for people and machines? Third best practice area is detection. Then how do you detect and investigate security events? So we need to have some answers that how we are going to manage, investigate security events. Detect. Infrastructure protection. So that is the fourth best practice area. Here these are the foundational questions like, how do you protect your network resource? How do you protect your compute resource? This is all about infrastructure protection from compute to network. Data protection. How do you classify your data? How do you protect your data at rest? And then how do you protect your data in transit? Sixth best practice area is incident response. So foundational question, so such kind of question will help us to further secure. So how do you anticipate, respond to, and recover from incidents? So best practices and the context of these all foundational questions can be found in the document which I'm sharing there. But I have just gone through some general discussion about the security pillar of AWS well-architected framework, and we went through some of the design principles and best practice areas for that pillar, and hopefully this may be a bit helpful for some of you, and hopefully I hope to see you in my future video on one of these security pillars of AWS well-architected framework. Thank you.